All right, well, happy Tuesday. I was about to say Monday, Central Georgia. I'm meteorologist Ansley Parker, and I'm filling in for Alex Pry while he is on a well-deserved vacation. And I'm filling in on quite the exciting day here because we have rainfall across our northern counties this morning. That is the big topic of conversation right now. And I'm going to go into a lot of detail as to why this rainfall actually showed up and why it actually showed up in a little bit of a stronger way than was previously expected. And I don't want all folks to feel left out. I know our southern counties are not seeing a lot of rain right now. If that's you, don't worry. There's going to be several more opportunities this week to catch some rainfall, and I'm going to go over all of those as well. So let's break it down. Right now, we're looking at the Skycam in Macon. I just have this one pulled up because I wanted to see it in full view because this is where the rain is falling right now. We've got a really cloudy scene out there. And you can see the rain in the horizon as well, kind of fogging things up in the distance. Obviously, there's rain here on the Skycam itself, and you can see rain falling when you look in on the parking garage over in kind of the corner of the screen down there. So rain is falling in Macon. There's no other way to spin it. It is definitely an exciting thing to see here right now, and it's not the only place that we've seen rain this morning. Now, that is also causing, this is quite obviously not as interesting as the rainfall itself, but that is causing a little bit of a temperature divide. We're in the upper 50s where rain has happened. Down south of I-16, we're already in the low 60s. So just a small temperature divide here, but that will kind of even out as we head into the rest of the day. The big story today was that there was going to be rain chances for some. This was not going to be a rain chance that everybody is going to get in on, and I still think that is reigning true as we go into the rest of today. I'll talk a little bit more about what models look like heading into the rest of this afternoon. Like I said, though, even though it's only for some people, there's more opportunities in the rest of the week for everybody to at least get some rainfall. And the high temperature, despite the rain that we have out there, is still forecasted to be in the low 80s. So a very warm afternoon is on the way after we can kick out some of this rainfall and some of this cloud cover. So I wanted to start by talking, of course, this is what the satellite and radar looks like right now in kind of a lower resolution. I'm going to dive into the satellite and radar piece by piece, tell you where rainfall stands right now, where it's heading, and all of the details on that. But I wanted to start with something of a little bit of an explainer as to why this has happened. You may have been listening to the forecast over the last couple of days and heard us talking about the fact that Tuesday morning looked relatively unimpressive. In fact, that's even some of the messaging that I was sending out this morning, and that is the truth. For so many model runs and through so many days, we did not seem like we were going to get any sort of meaningful rainfall, let alone thunderstorms, through this morning. So this is what we ended up getting. Obviously, this is where things stand right now. But this is what our atmosphere looks like right now at the surface. So there's different levels of the atmosphere. You probably know this very well. And at the surface, this is what's going on. We've got this big cold front that is kind of stretching its way towards the eastern half of the United States. But I want you to notice it's not here just yet. So you may have thought, okay, the driving force for what we saw this morning was this cold front. It pushed everything down into our area, and that's why we got rainfall. That is what happens so often. We get lots of systems that fronts roll through and they push things down into our area. But those things are super easy, very, very predictable to forecast because we can see the cold front here at the surface, and then we can kind of map out where it's going based on a lot of different things, temperature differences, air mass differences, and just kind of where the front is generally moving. That is actually not what has driven the rainfall from today. This front is kind of the main reason that we had rainfall, but it's what this front did in different levels of the atmosphere that actually drove our rain chances. So at a different level above this cold front, we're in the middle levels of the atmosphere, and this cold front caused waves in the middle levels of the atmosphere. Now, these waves are very unpredictable. They're really hard to identify, and that is why forecasts in kind of the month of April and May can go so strangely, because these waves in the middle levels of the atmosphere, they will control what's going on at the surface, and they just have a mind of their own. These are called MCSs, mesoscale convective systems. That's a big name for basically just an organized line of showers and thunderstorms. And when something in the middle levels of the atmosphere drives these MCSs, they can be extremely difficult to predict, to forecast, and to track. So that's basically what happened today. This cold front here at the surface caused a wave in the middle levels of the atmosphere, and that wave actually caused all of the rainfall that we see down here in central Georgia. And because that wave was so unpredictable, it really did not seem like we were going to get a lot of rainfall today. And luckily, thank goodness, that wave acted so unpredictably, because we were able to get a lot more rain than was originally forecasted. Now, the other reason I bring that up is not just to justify why we had a little bit of a change in the forecast today, but I also wanted you to see that because it has a lot to do with how the rest of the week is going to look as well. That cold front is going to sit situated off to the west of us for a couple more days, and the waves in the middle levels of the atmosphere are going to be the things driving the weather through the next few days as well. So the models are having a very hard time with this system through the rest of the week. There's going to be a lot of variation from model run to model run. So it still is going to be a little bit of an unclear forecast for the rest of the week, and I wanted to explain why that reasoning is. So with that being said, let's talk about what really matters, which is the satellite and radar right now. Now, I wanted to see the big picture view up in North Georgia as well, because obviously that's where this system started early this morning. They have widespread rain still, even behind this front, and that rain is actually still continuing to track towards us. So even better news in that regard as well. But let's talk about where this system started up here in North Georgia. It started early this morning all the way in the northwestern corner of the state. I know this is moving, but I want to draw your attention into kind of the section of the storm that will be just south here of the metro. Notice there's a little outflow boundary there. That outflow boundary is actually what spurred up this line to get stronger and move into our area with a little bit of strength. See how it kind of branches off of the original line because of the outflow boundary, and then that's what we ended up seeing here in our area. I'll let it play through here without me moving all over it, and you can kind of see how that spurred up a couple more showers and storms to move into our area. So overall, this thing came through here with a little bit more strength again than was originally forecasted, but we heard a lot of thunder. We saw some lightning. We had a little bit of gusty winds as well, wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour, and occasionally, not here in our area, but just north of us, there was some pea-sized hail noted as well. So not only did we get rainfall today, but we got thunderstorms. And the reason thunderstorms are such a good thing for us is because thunderstorms have locally heavy pockets of, rainfall. So we ended up getting a couple of rainfall totals that actually will be helpful heading into the next few days. So this is what the current satellite and radar looks like right now. Just off the jump, I actually think that we're supposed to be looking weaker than we are right now. Obviously, you can tell that the way it started out earlier this morning, it was a lot stronger up in North Georgia. How it sits now, it is definitely on a weakening trend. There's less lightning. The line is looking a little bit more broken up as a whole. There's a few more pockets of light rain mixed in with the heavy rain, and you can just tell it's got the classic telltale signs of a system that is weakening. But it's getting a little bit further south while it's doing that weakening, so a couple of showers are spurring up ahead of the system itself. We're getting a little bit of rain over in Lawrence County. We're getting rain over here in Taylor and Macon counties, which we were thinking was going to be a little bit too far south. So if this can continue to push just a little bit further to the south, we may be able to get a couple of the southern counties in on the mix. The thing is, some models are still projecting that this is going to break apart right where it is right now, and the counties that are south of here are not going to be able to get in on the action. I still think that that is generally kind of where we're going to be at for today. But like I said, there's more rain chances in the forecast where the southern counties do get in the mix. So we'll talk about that on the future view here in just a minute. But piece by piece, this is where things stand right now. The leading edge of that line is now moving into Peach County here, starting to rain over in Warner Robins. And we've got lots of light to steady rainfall in Taylor, Macon, Crawford counties, over into Bibb. Forsyth, Jasper, and Putnam were kind of the first ones to get in on the action, as well as Gray and Baldwin counties. They were the ones where I was looking at the radar thinking, oh my goodness, we're about to have this line hold together while it rolls in here. So they were kind of first, but they have still pockets of heavy rainfall embedded even behind the initial line. So that is good news as well. Just really, really good news. I mean, I can't believe that we have this much rainfall, and I'm sure that folks are really happy to see it as well. And that's kind of the trend here. We've got the leading edge, of course, and that has heavy rain in it, but we also have this light to steady rain all behind it. And even in that light to steady rain, there are pockets where things are a little bit heavier. So that is good news. And as we go into the rest of the day, hopefully we can get a little bit of what's left here in North Georgia to keep pushing down a bit further. You'll notice this is kind of dying out as well. So this is looking a bit weaker. We may not get quite as much of this, or it's really going to look just like light showers for us. But if we could still get a little bit of something of that, then that would be good news as well. I'll give you more specifics looking at the future view here in just a moment. But that is big picture what this has looked like all morning long. So it kind of started up in Tennessee. Remember, the cold front was the original reason for everything, but it was kind of the mid-level atmospheric disturbance that moved everything further into the state of Georgia. And the trend here has been the further it's pushed into Georgia, the more it has been weakening, and it will continue to do that through the rest of the morning. It was actually a severe weather event a little bit further over to the north and the west where it was earlier today. A severe weather outlook was in place for many states to our north and our west. And actually, this severe weather outlook did extend into portions of northern Georgia as well. We had a level 2 of 5 risk in the northwestern corner that extended into a level 1 of 5 risk for other portions of northern Georgia. The thinking was, yeah, it was always going to die down by the time it got to central Georgia. It was supposed to really just look like light showers, if anything. Obviously, we didn't have severe weather, and I still don't expect us to have severe weather, but we definitely had a couple of storms with a bit more strength than just, run-of-the-mill thunderstorms here. So it was definitely a little bit of an active morning for the northern counties. Unfortunately, I think that is kind of all said and done as we head into the early afternoon. So just off the bat, I know I was talking a lot about models having a lot of variation from run to run. You probably know, if you listen to us talk as a team a little bit deeper into the forecast, what initialization is. If you're not familiar with what that is, when we flip over to a model and we want to get model data that looks really accurate, we want the model data to line up with what's going on the satellite and radar right now. So just doing that. Here's what the model data looks like as we kind of sit at the timestamp that we're at right now. Going back to the radar, let's see if it'll let me. Yes, there we go. Going back to the radar, it's not really doing the best job. There's obviously a lot more rainfall up here in North Georgia. This line that's down here in our area is obviously a lot stronger and a little bit thicker. So the model is not initializing well, which means it's not necessarily doing the best job picking up what's going on in the atmosphere right now. The reason that matters at all is because that tends to give us an idea that it might not be doing the best job guessing what's going to happen next. I mean, you can't really make a guess about what's going to happen next if you don't even really know what's going on right now. So we're going to kind of take the graph right now with a grain of salt. It's gone back and forth a lot, so I'll kind of try to walk through what I think is going to happen based on this graph model as I walk you through the rest of the afternoon. I do think generally the idea that as we jump towards 1 p.m., so afternoon today, I do think that we will generally be transitioning to this green color here, just a light rain, if anything, and I think it's going to be fizzling out for the most part. I also, and I said this before, I still think we're going to struggle to get rainfall south of I-16 this morning, but like I said, there's also going to be several more opportunities to do that. So this is kind of how I expect the rest of the day to look. Maybe you catch a light shower or two from time to time, but for the most part, majority of the area is going to be fairly dry after we hit that 1 p.m. time frame, and then we're going to kind of fade into the evening tonight with things winding down. But it's not over just yet, because as we head into the late night hours tonight, another round of rainfall is on the way. I think for us here in central Georgia, it's really going to be an early Wednesday morning situation. So you see, by the time we're at late night tonight, there is definitely something approaching state lines, but not necessarily making its way into central Georgia until after midnight tonight. So these days are all going to blend together. What you basically need to know is pretty much every morning there's going to be an opportunity for us to see rainfall through the rest of the week and even into the weekend. So we'll call it Wednesday morning for now. This next system starts to move in, and I kind of explained the background. It's the same thing. Another mid-level atmospheric disturbance is going to be pushing all of this our way. So it's another unpredictable system. But how it seems right now is that early Wednesday morning, we're going to get this line of showers and maybe a few embedded thunderstorms similar to what we had today that kind of pushes through central Georgia through the really early morning hours. It does look like it brings several rounds of rainfall through the kind of morning hours here until we get to around morning commute time, when everything should be kind of winding down into light showers. So it's a similar situation to what we experienced this morning. I know that this model run had a heavy concentration on the northern counties, but Thursday morning has a heavy concentration on the southern counties. I promise you, I feel confident that everybody's going to at least see something over the next couple of days. So by the time we get into kind of work time on Wednesday morning, most of this will have moved on, and then Wednesday itself is actually going to be a pretty dry day. So tomorrow, if you have outdoor plans in the afternoons and the evenings, you don't really have to worry about rain chances too much, aside from maybe the possibility to catch a really brief shower. But to experience what we're experiencing right now, downpours where it makes it really difficult to be outdoors, that's going to happen probably while you're sleeping, or maybe a little bit while you're driving into work on Wednesday morning if you have a particularly early morning commute. Otherwise, this is pretty much what the majority of the day is going to look like tomorrow. Now, I tried to emphasize the morning time frame is the morning where we're going to, or is the frame, the morning is the time frame where we're going to have rain chances. So Thursday morning is included in that as well, and it is, again, starting really, really early in the morning. So after midnight on Thursday, that's when another one of those systems in the middle levels of the atmosphere throws another rain opportunity at us. So we get the same thing, kind of this disorganized, scattered rain chance that sticks with us through the early morning hours Thursday. Thursday does look like it could be a lot more pockets of light rain, but still, even in that, we have pockets of heavier rain that could pop up as well. Thursday, you may still be dealing with rainfall into your morning commute time, but the kicker with Thursday is notice how we have this dividing line with the cloud cover here. That front that I showed you at the beginning of the stream, it actually does make its way towards us on Thursday, and this front is actually going to clear everything out as we go into the daytime on Thursday. So we actually will have a pretty clear afternoon on the way Thursday. This front is just going to slowly work its way across our region. We'll have scattered showers until it gets out of here, and then behind that front, we sit a little bit clearer, but not for very long because we have another system. There's so much going on. I hope this is not throwing people off too much, but we've got another system for Friday that's down in the Gulf. So instead of being north of us, it's south of us, and that's what brings the rain chances for Friday and for the weekend. We only have the graph model out to about 4 a.m. right now, but you can already see the cloudiness re-increases. There's a couple of showers over here in Alabama. This is all being driven by what's going on south of us. What we have right now is being driven by what's going on north of us. So that was the graph model. I know that was a lot to kind of absorb here, but basically the big takeaway is there is an opportunity for rainfall every single morning all the way into the weekend this weekend. It's mostly going to be pockets of heavy rain embedded within a larger scale, widespread light rain situation. There will be a couple of thunderstorms, but there is no severe weather risk associated with any of this. So the hope here is that that means several mornings of, even if it's just light rain, at least tacking on the totals as we go through the next couple of days. I'll show you what Friday and Saturday look like on the long range models here because of course we don't have the graph model in view just yet, and we'll start with Friday. Remember, it's a totally different thing now. We've got a low pressure system in the Gulf. It's going to drive all the moisture over into our area, and that's why we have rainfall Friday and Saturday. So that's what you'll see here. All the stuff kind of coming in from the west. We get some more widespread rain chances heading overnight Friday into early Saturday morning. Now, I'm pretty encouraged by this for a couple of reasons. Saturday to me, and I'm almost tempted to go ahead and bump up the rain chance compared to what we have for this week. But Saturday looks a little bit more promising to me for two reasons. One, it's associated with a low pressure system in the Gulf. So think about that. It's a system that's sitting over warm ocean water. And what that's actually going to do is pick up all that ocean water and hand it over to us. So it's going to sling us all of this moisture that we didn't originally have, which means that we could get some more productive rainfall rates. So rain can fall a little bit heavier and it can just have more water within its raindrops, if that makes sense. So we're getting all this Gulf moisture, and look at the coverage on that. I mean, we are kind of in the prime spot for where this low pressure system and stationary boundary are going to set up for us to actually see some pretty good rainfall. When we start to get yellows and stuff on the longer range models, this to me indicates, okay, I think we're in for a pretty good rainmaker for Saturday. So long range, obviously you have to take with a little bit of a grain of salt. We don't have very high resolution and there can be a lot of changes run to run, but I feel really good about what I see right now for Saturday. It moves on, that low pressure system goes off coast as we head into Sunday, and that puts an end to the rain chances for this 7-day forecast. Sunday, Monday, and I know this goes out to Tuesday, but Tuesday right now are looking like they're going to be dry. So we're going to take a brief break from the rain chances, but I have reason to believe that rain will be back even into next week. So that is how the week looks right now. I promise I'll break it down a little bit piece by piece on the 7-day forecast as well. I know that was a lot that I just threw at you, but I want to talk a little bit about the rainfall totals with this as well. Now, this is another product that has changed a lot run to run. Sometimes it shows our entire area seeing 2 inches of rain. Sometimes it shows our whole area like what you're seeing right now, basically seeing nothing. I tend to take this with a grain of salt. I think we're all in the heaviest spots going to get close to maybe an inch. And in the lighter spots, I think we're talking about seeing around ½ an inch. Now, that is not anything super crazy, but it's a foot in the right direction, right? So I don't think it's necessarily going to take us out of our drought conditions or do anything crazy in terms of the drought conditions, but it may help things from actually getting worse here in our area. And it's actually kind of a good steady rainfall that we need as opposed to just getting one crazy rainmaker where we would end up with a lot of flash flooding concerns. So take these models with a grain of salt. I don't think that Dublin's going to see 0 and Wrightsville's going to see 0 while Forsyth sees close to an inch. These numbers are all dependent on where these showers actually pop up. I think everybody is going to see some rainfall, and I think the totals are going to be between ½ an inch to around an inch in the heavier spots. And I can say that with a little more confidence based on what we've already seen so far this morning. Good rainmakers so far. At the time that I grabbed these pinpoints, the system hadn't made it out this far south just yet, but you can kind of safely assume that it's similar numbers down here in these counties to the pinpoints that I picked up here in our northern counties, but generally in that range, right? And this is just our first rainmaker. So hopefully after a few more like this or a little bit lighter, we can just keep on adding to these numbers, and for our areas that haven't seen rainfall just yet, get up to numbers like this. So we're gonna be safely in that ½ an inch to an inch range, hopefully in most spots, and that is what we've tacked on so far this morning. This is 24-hour rainfall totals, so this is kind of a picture of what has fallen just with that little system that we've already had so far this morning. I mentioned the drought conditions a little bit. We do actually get new drought monitors on Tuesday, so this looks the same as yesterday, but you may actually be looking at the updated one. I apologize, I actually don't know because I was so focused in on the rain chances. I had not had a chance to update this graphic. Either way, if I didn't change the date that you're seeing behind my head, it's new, so this should be the most current drought monitor that we have right now. Like I said, the rainfall that we get from the next couple of days is not necessarily going to correct these conditions, but it may just kind of put a pause on them and help them from getting worse, because that's kind of the last thing we need right now. We don't want any more areas to be brought into the exceptional drought or the extreme drought, and we kind of want to keep this low-end moderate drought as low as we possibly can. So that's kind of my hope for the next couple of days. At least the rainfall can do that. But we will kind of have to see how it goes over the next couple of days here as we get a little bit more in terms of rainfall. So with that being said, of course, we still have the wildfires burning in South Georgia, a very serious situation down in South Georgia. Fire weather is a big concern for us because we do not want to add to what's going on in South Georgia, and we don't want to create that problem for ourselves either. And we are not in any sort of fire weather concerns. Obviously, we have rainfall out there, so it's kind of hard to have fire weather when you have rainfall and lots of moisture in the forecast. So we're not in any sort of outlook from the National Weather Service in terms of fire weather right now, but we are still under a burn ban. This burn ban does still go until May 22nd. This is for the majority of our area, but if I could offer any sort of advice to the counties who are not outlined in this, I would go ahead and just imagine that you are also included in the burn ban, because it just is not a good idea to be burning right now. With the proximity that we have to South Georgia, we do not want to add to what they have going on. We do not want to have to use their resources. We're already sending our firefighters, and we're trying to send as many folks as we can down to South Georgia. The last thing that we want to do is pull resources from that very serious situation that's going on just to our neighbors down in the south. So we are in the burn ban until May 22nd, regardless of fire weather concerns here. And rainfall, of course, is a big focus as the droughts and the fires continue. So far this month here in Macon-Bibb, we've only had an inch of rainfall in the month of April. We're supposed to see a little over 3.5 inches. We're about to turn the page and start talking about May. But either way, it looks like we are going to finish this month below average. That will be the 4th month that we finish this year below average, and that puts our yearly deficit at around 7 inches below the average. So there's no other way to say it. Rainfall is something that we really, really need, and hopefully over the next couple of days, even just an inch definitely will make a difference, especially if we can get that mark as we go into the month of May, because hopefully that will help with our totals for the entire month. And like I said, there's reason to believe that even beyond this week, we will have more rain chances in the forecast. This is the precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. This is basically an 8 to 14 day outlook for what they think is going to happen beyond the 7-day forecast based on trends in the atmosphere. And this puts us at the above normal category in terms of the amount of rainfall that we're expected to see. So we're expected to see above the average for the week of May 4th to May 10th. So that does mean that there hopefully will be some rain chances in the forecast in the long term. And we talk a lot about rain. It's obviously the most important story right now, but it's not the only story. In fact, temperatures this week are going to be a big topic of conversation as well, because we've been in the 80s, we've been near average. That's about to take a huge change as we head into this upcoming weekend, but also the end of the work week. We are also looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center in terms of temperatures. So this is even beyond what we have for the 7-day forecast. And we are well into that below normal category, which means our temperatures are going to fall below the average high for the month of May as we head into that May 4th to May 10th timeline. Now that will be a huge change from where we were in the month of April. Talk about a warm month. We were above average for 20 days so far in the month of April. Yesterday we did have a below average day. taking our number up to 6 below average days. And I expect that we will kind of fall below average for the last remaining days. Actually, we may not fall below average. We actually could have 2 more above average days for the remaining days of April. It's May that we're going to have some below average temperatures. The average high has officially climbed to 81 degrees, so that is a warm number. Yesterday, because of some of the rainfall here in Macon, we had a high temperature of 78 degrees. So we kind of snuck a below average high temperature in there. But for the next few days, we will be falling well below the average kind of as we kick off the month of May. That means that the temperatures are going to be back in the 70s officially. Wednesday will still be another warm day. We'll get some sunshine back on Wednesday afternoon. Highs will go back into the mid 80s, but by Thursday, we're going to fall back into the 70s. And then as we head towards the weekend, a high temperature of 70 degrees flat is forecasted for Saturday. So that is a very below average number. Very, very cool to kick off the month of May. And those numbers are also going to continue even beyond the weekend. So some cool numbers in store here, not only in the afternoons, but of course in the mornings. And that makes lots of sense. It's also due to some of the rainfall that we have out there, but overall, we're also getting a different air mass setting up over us. So we're going to have a cooler air mass that kind of situates itself over our region, and that is going to help with the cooling of some of the temperatures that we're going to have, as opposed to the extreme warming pattern that we were under in the month of April, where we just had high pressure system and the sunshine just heated everything up every single day. A different story as we go into the next couple of days. So that's what your 7-day will reflect as well. And this is your list of rain chances, at least as to where things stand right now. If I could go back and do things a little differently, obviously I would take this 20 up to a little bit of a higher number. Like I said, the models are just having a really hard time with what you see this week. So just take those rain chances with a grain of salt and stay up to date with the forecast. I promise you, once we see a change in a trend or something, we are jumping on here, trying to update the information as quickly as we can. As soon as I started to see things holding together a little bit better and that line moving into our northern counties, I tried to push out as much information on as many platforms as I possibly could to get the information out. So if you're interested in what's going on this week in terms of rainfall, definitely stay up to date with us, and we will make sure that as soon as we know something, you are the first one to hear about it. But I do think Wednesday morning's rain chance is going to have some pretty good coverage with it. Majority of that, again, is while you're going to be sleeping, so you shouldn't really have to worry about it impacting your day too much, aside from maybe your morning commute. But I do think the majority of that will be while you're sleeping. But I've kept that at 60 due to the fact that I think the coverage on that is going to be the best, at least compared to the days ahead, maybe not compared to what we experienced today. Thursday also has pretty good coverage, although I think the showers are going to be just a touch lighter. Friday doesn't look super impressive to me right now, but Saturday is continuing to look more and more impressive. I'm putting a little weight on Saturday. I'm hoping that that rain chance can climb over the next couple of days as opposed to drop. You see a thunderstorm icon on every day. Storms are possible, a couple of rumbles of thunder, maybe an embedded thunderstorm or two, but these are not going to be severe weather situations, thank goodness. We're just talking about rainfall with kind of your run-of-the-mill thunderstorms through the next few days. So that takes us all the way into the weekend. I did say we were going to clear up Sunday heading into next week, so that is still going to be the case. We'll stay a little bit drier for the end of the weekend and the beginning of the work week until potentially rain chances are on the way next week. So that is the rain chances. Of course, the temperatures are going to take a huge drop. We'll stay in the 70s both Saturday and Sunday, so a cool weekend. Sunday morning church service, you are going to want a jacket. It is going to be in the 40s Sunday morning, so definitely make sure you're aware of that. But we do kind of stair-step our way back in the opposite direction after this. We're going to work our way back to the mid-70s, which will be an improvement from the low 70s by next week. So tons in the forecast. This is probably the most active 7-day forecast we have had in quite some time. And of course, rain is all the focus all week long. Like I said, all the details as they unfold are yours as soon as we know them. So definitely make sure to stay up to date with us over the next couple of days. There will be lots of updates, lots of information being pushed out, and lots of talk about rainfall totals, who's seen what, and who's going to see what. And if you'd like to watch rainfall for yourself, you're already in the right place. You can continue to join me tomorrow and then Alex back on Thursday and Friday right here at 11 a.m. on 13 WMAZ+. But you also can watch our 24/7 radar anytime that you'd like. So you can watch the rain fall, you can see where rain's sitting at different portions in central Georgia, and you can just kind of watch it on loop, because to be honest with you, it's a little bit addicting. So that is going to be what you can see right here when I leave you. But of course, I will be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you then.